Hey guys, it is a beautiful day here in Maryland. It is a little bit windy still, but we have had really high winds the past couple of days, like 60 or maybe closer to 50, not 60 mile-per-hour wind gusts. I have an obelisk down behind me. I have some sticks all in my yard that I'm going to clean up today. And I really need to finish the cleanup back here in our backyard. I finished most of it everywhere else, but we have mulch coming on Friday and we're planning to mulch on Saturday. So I need to make sure that everything is ready to go. I think tomorrow I might do my fertilizing. So I'm gonna bring you along for all of that. And I have a burn pile that I need to take care of, believe it or not, still from my roses that I pruned with you a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna start a little fire and I'll probably update you on the seedlings up on my deck. There are a few jugs that are sprouting. They're not doing as well as I thought. I don't know, maybe they'll start sprouting now, but we have had so much rain and they've just kind of stayed waterlogged. So I don't know if they're getting too much water, if the seeds kind of drowned out. But later on today, I probably won't film it, but I'm gonna do like a second round of, now it's closer to spring sowing in some jugs just to ensure that I do have a round of good seeds sprouting in those jugs. So let's get started. Just went around my yard real quick to pick up sticks, and this is all of the sticks that I gathered from that quick little pickup around our yard from our river birch trees that are our neighbors right over here. They are super beautiful trees, but they sure are messy, especially after a big windstorm that we just had. And then there is my rose brush pile. So I'm gonna get this started and work on cleaning up down there all at the same time. My husband would probably laugh at me right now because I am not the fire starter. He is. He's the fire master, and this is not starting for me. So eventually it should get going here. This hydrangea sure caught on fire pretty quickly. All right, well that fire is burning behind me. I'm gonna keep a close eye on it because the sticks are finally catching on fire. I just wanted to show you down here real quick. Today I am going to work on pruning my Annabelle hydrangeas. You can probably see the smoke floating over here now. But I'm gonna work on pruning these hydrangeas. These are really the last hydrangeas that I have to prune. I am going to fix my obelisk. You can see it just toppled right over in the wind the past couple of days. Hopefully it didn't break. The last time this happened, it did break and we had to kind of do a repair job on it. And then I have to come down here and clean out my hostas. You can see I have daffodils that are getting ready to start blooming down here. I never raked back my hostas, so I'm going to clean those up a little bit, and I'm going to take out these camellias that I have that are definitely dead at this point. I put them in a couple years ago and they did not survive, so I'm going to take those out and just kind of do a general cleanup of this bed in here. And then I'll take you over to my other side here. And over here, I just have some minor cleanup with some perennial cut back. Sedums coming in right there, so I need to cut those back. And I have a few daffodils coming up and some coneflower and some Russian sage that I'm going to clean up. So not much to do over here. And right in here, there's really not much to do, if anything at all. This is where my Sweet Talker viburnum are that are starting to finally put on some new growth. So that is good. And then I have a bunch of tulips popping out of the ground here. So not too much. Let's get to work. All right, I got my obelisk up. It's not perfect by any means, but at least it's standing up straight. I may have to look into staking that somehow so that doesn't keep falling over like that in the wind. But I'm gonna get to my Annabelle hydrangeas now. I have 3 of them along the back here, and I really don't do anything fancy. I just usually look for the part where the leaf node is coming out of the stem, and then I cut right above a leaf node, and usually the rule of thumb is to take these down by about a third to a half. I typically usually prune mine to about a third. You know, I'll remove any branches that are real spindly and anything that's dead, but nothing super fancy about my pruning method. I'm just gonna go through and cut them all back by a third. With this one, the rabbits really, well actually with all of them, the rabbits really went to town on this year. So you can see that it's, well maybe you can kind of see that it's been already almost half pruned down by the rabbits. And boy, they have not let up all winter long and continuing into now, getting into prime rabbit season. They have just been nibbling down everything. Another thing that I found about these Annabelles, at least this past year, they're under these river birch trees, which they do really well, even in this kind of dry shade conditions, because these river birch trees suck up a lot of water, kind of create this dry shade, but they've done really well. And they also haven't gotten super floppy for me, a little bit floppy, but not too bad. I'm wondering if it's because they've been protected under the canopy of the trees, so the rain doesn't come down on them quite as hard. And they've also done really well in the shady conditions for me. I am in 7B. We do get really hot, so I'm sure they appreciate the extra protection from the hot sun. And these are a variety that I have heard, you know, can do well in the shade. Another variety that I've thought about for back here, I've contemplated moving these up to my front to the porch in a year or so, and putting some oak leaf hydrangeas back here I think would also look really nice and do really well. They're another variety that can handle the shadier conditions a little bit better. And they would get just a little bit taller than these Annabelles and kind of provide us with a nice little border right here along the fence, just giving us a little bit more privacy than what we currently have. All right, 2 down and 1 to go. It's going really quick. All right, hydrangeas are done. That was super quick and easy. So I'm gonna work my way down here and go clean up all my hosta mess. Like I showed you before, it's not too bad. I just have to do a little bit of raking, a little bit of cleanup. All of these daffodils are popping up in this bed. I had a bunch of crocus that were also popping up that the rabbits just keep demolishing. So I had so much crocus in here, but I unfortunately only saw a few blooms. So I'm gonna have to spray in future years if I actually want to see my crocus. And I have some brilliant autumn ferns that they also eat down back here that are probably gonna be sprouting up anytime now. And I know I have a lily in here and an anemone, and then pretty much just a bunch of hosta. I did have Brunera over here, but it died on me 2 years in a row. So, and some columbine. I'm not sure if that's gonna come up or not. Actually, let's see if we see any babies popping up. I don't see any. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any this year or not. I knew I should have seeded some columbine, but I didn't get that this year. But anyway, let's get to raking. That was another quick and easy job. I just went through and cut things back, cleaned things up a little bit, raked out some of the excessive leaves, but I left most of the leaves there because they will compost down underneath the mulch that we're about to put down. I took out the dead row of camellia. I do have 5 Sweet Talker viburnum on the way that should be getting here this week, that I am going to finally plant another hedge along the corner here, which I'm very excited about. And I'm also very excited to see this autumn brilliant serviceberry come into bloom. I think it's going to be blooming before we know it. Do you see the buds? They are really starting to swell. My camera's not focusing very good, but This is going to be in full bloom really soon. Very excited to see that. I'm over by my sweet talker viburnum hedge over by my gate, and I noticed down at the bottom I have some flowers on the way. So that made me happy to see. And looks like more budding up. This did defoliate from the winter cold, but it's my understanding that it should not affect the blooms, and new buds should be pushing out. So I will definitely keep you updated. I'm gonna start by cutting back my sedum right here. I love all these little fresh rosettes that pop out of the ground every spring. I think they're so cute. In this bed, you might, if you watched me last year, you might remember that I just kind of stuck a bunch of perennials in here that I really didn't know what to do with otherwise. This bed is very evolving. I have some ideas for it, but I'm just kind of playing around with it year by year. I have some things that I'd like to get that are more like substantial, but you know, everything is expensive, so I am just taking things slowly and just getting things as I can. Last year, I filled this area with a ton of zinnias, which I absolutely loved. I thought they looked so pretty, and I will definitely be adding some kind of zinnia into this bed again this year. One thing that I thought would look really pretty in here would be like a big rose right here in the middle. Right now I put this denim and lace Russian sage, but I think some kind of a centerpiece plant right here would look really good. And then maybe in that corner where the sedum were, I was thinking of a tall grass, like the totem pole grass from previous winters, or you know, some other kind of tall grass to add a different texture. I think would be really nice right over there by the gate. This was a Denver daisy right here, and I just went to cut it back, and it like basically just pulled out of the ground. So this in this spot may not have come back for me, sadly, but I do see some new growth on this one over here, so that's a good sign. Maybe this one reseeded itself somewhere, so I'll have to wait and see. But I did only pay $1 for these a piece, so I'm not, you know, completely heartbroken if one of them didn't make it or two of them. Our holly bed is looking good, all cleaned up, ready to go for mulch. Everything else is cleaned up. I just have to pick up some brush piles, and then I'm gonna do some weeding, and I'm gonna try to do that fertilizing tomorrow. And then I think we'll be all ready for mulching on Saturday. Well, that was a quick and easy day. I'm all done with the cleanup in this backyard, and really all of my beds. I just need to go through and do some weeding still, which I will not bore you with. And I'm gonna still do my fertilizing before we get the mulch down so that it can have a chance to soak into the ground underneath the mulch. So I am just gonna go up to the deck and show you my seedlings quick from my winter sowing jugs, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Also, a quick fire update, I gave up. It started burning really well for a while there, and then it just fizzled out on me. It's a really windy day, it's breezy, so I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just not good at building fires. So I am gonna leave this to the pro, my husband, to take care of probably on Saturday. Here are all of my jugs amongst the mess. I'm starting to bring out my containers and figure out where I want to put everything, but I just thought I'd give you a quick peek. So I've not noticed anything in my sweet peas, nothing going on there, or the true lavender. I am seeing some action on my hollyhocks, which is fun. My foxglove, I actually just started to see tiny, can you see those tiny, tiny little sprouts? I just started to see them today. Now that it's warming up, things are starting to sprout a little bit more. Nothing in my delphinium yet. This is another Mammoth Choice Sweet Pea. Haven't noticed anything in that. And let's see, this one is, oops, backwards. Where's the name? Oh, there we go, alyssum. So this started sprouting real early. Lots of seedlings in the alyssum. And then my butterfly weed, I'm also getting some seedlings. So that is fun. And this is the nasturtium and nothing in the nasturtium. So that's my quick update on my winter sowing jugs. So that's it for today. Quick and easy. I hope that you enjoyed just hanging out with me today on this gorgeous day. I am looking forward to a few more gorgeous days this week. I hope that you have been able to get out and work in your gardens as well. And I will talk to you soon. All right, bye.